We're about to have a conversation with Carol Roth. She is a recovering investment banker, billions of dollars worth of transaction experience. She's also a small business advocate. You will see her and hear her just about everywhere, including on the New York Times bestselling list, where she's had two books, including The Entrepreneur Equation, The War on Small Business, and You Will Own Nothing, her latest. Carol, great to be with you today. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Dale, for having me. And I know we've got very important things to talk about today.
Yeah, so it is the Corporate Transparency Act, and I heard you talk about it, and then thought, wow, most businesses with Better Business Bureau are small businesses. That means they usually have 20 or fewer employees, and that $5 million revenue mark, which are all key pieces of this Corporate Transparency Act that goes into effect on January 1st of 2024. So tell us what we need to know about it.
All right, so this is a mass data collection program that is going, as you said, into effect on January 1st, 2024, that was put in place, as you noted, as part of the Corporate Transparency Act. And it has a rule called beneficial ownership information. So, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get businesses, but primarily small businesses, to give up really critical information of not only who owns them, but also who manages them or makes important decisions for them. And it's being done through FinCEN, which is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. So you take a step back and you're like, why are small businesses involved in FinCEN? This is a group that is, focused on financial crimes. Well, much like they tried to tell us that hiring 80 plus thousand IRS agents was to go after 800 billionaires, now apparently to stop money laundering, they have to come after small businesses. So this is the weird part about it. They have about 20 some odd exemptions. As you noted, if you are a large operating entity, so you have about 20 employees and 5 million in revenue, you hit one of the exemptions. You would think that's strange. Wouldn't you want to know what the bigger companies are doing? Apparently, they don't want to know that. They just care about the smaller entities. And then they have all these other exemptions for entities, probably because they're already registered with FinCEN, sort of, entities across financial services. But if you have a small business with an entity wrapped around it, so even if you are a solo business owner, a one person single member LLC, or an S Corp, if you have a formal entity, you are required to give them your information. And, it's a lot of information. As an owner, anyone else who has any ownership, anyone else who has any quote unquote control, and they have specifics. And of course, Dale, this isn't free. You have to pay $85 to them for the privilege of having your privacy invaded. And that is if you don't require additional help to go through it. They're estimating it's going to take at least 3 hours of your time to do this, taking you away from productive revenue generating activities. Again, if that's all it takes for you to figure this out. And the penalties are very steep if you don't do this, including potential jail time. So
I mean,
the
we're
one
talking a
good
$10,000 fine and up to 2 years in prison is what I
it,
read.
Yeah, it's insane. And that's just for the not only for the initial filing, but if you don't keep them up to date. So if some of that information changes, maybe you get married and your name changes legally, or you've changed your business location, and you forget to tell FinCEN, then now all of a sudden you're not in compliance anymore. So if you are starting a new business, you're creating a new business entity, you're only going to have 30 days to get this done starting January 1st. The good news for us businesses that have been in existence for a while is that we have till the end of the year. And that's why this conversation is so important, because I want us to crush this. I am personally not going to comply with this until the very last moment, because I want to try to get this removed. This is an invasion of privacy. It's an invasion of security. It is a picking of winners and losers, once again, targeting small businesses, and it is crushing our rights. So we need everybody, every small business owner, yourself, everyone you know to call your representatives. It only takes a handful of people all calling one office on the same day for them to go, oh, this is a big deal. And we need to get this rule crushed because it does nothing but create another barrier for small businesses.
And to go back and show how this became law, it was passed by both houses, the Congress and Senate, sent to the president's desk. President Trump vetoed it, and then both houses voted to override the veto.
Right. So
Did
you
I get
can't blame
that's
President
correct?
Biden for this, and you can't blame President Trump. This is Congress's fault. So this is their mess to make right. And you have it exactly perfect that this came as part of one of those, national defense packages. They threw this act in there, as they often do, throwing like weird things into their overarching scenario. So it falls under the scope of something called the Anti-Money Laundering Act. And this is back in 2020 and past January 2021. And like you said, it was put on President Trump's desk. He vetoed it. It was sent back to Congress, and both houses in Congress, that the House and the Senate, said, sorry, we're going to override your veto. So this is who the blame lies with, and this is who needs to clean it up.
So, and for clarification, the end of the year. So, if you're an existing business, you have until
Yes,
basically January 1st of 2025 until you
correct.
need to file. But if you're a new
Correct.
business starting up after January 1st of 2024, you must file as you start your business.
30 days, right. If you don't do that right away and you forget, as you put all your paperwork together, whenever you kind of make that official date of your LLC or your corporation, that gets the clock ticking, and then you have 30 days to do it. So that's something that if you are starting a new business, even if you're existing business, but maybe you have a second business that you're starting or a third business, that you want to make sure that you're talking to your advisors about, and making sure you don't have the clock run out, because you don't want to be the one that they make an example of here.
And once again, you're asking people to contact their lawmaker in Washington, D.C., their representative,
All
their
of them.
U.S.
Yes.
senator.
Your reps, both of your senators, call the Capitol directly. I don't care who you call, but we need to be loud and we need to make a big deal. I mean, it's estimated that this could impact tens of millions of small business owners. That's a lot of voices that we have to make a big deal about it. Unfortunately, no one knows about it. This was only put on my radar, and I'm somebody who advocates for small business and has my own small business, within the past few weeks. So I was able to get it on a statement for the record in the last House Small Business Committee meeting that took place. I believe it was on December 12th. So I submitted it. It's on their radar, but we need more people to shake the tree here and to let them know this is a big deal. Because even though it starts in one place, it continues to grow. But even where it's starting is just not acceptable in terms of our rights, our privacy, the costs, the administrative burden. We should be making it easier for small business owners to succeed, not creating additional barriers, and certainly not violating their rights on a continual basis, which unfortunately we've seen over and over the last several years in particular.
A core tenet of Better Business Bureau is this idea of building trust by businesses
Yes.
living to a set of standards through self-regulation. One of those standards is safeguard privacy. What type of privacy concerns and data concerns should a business owner have putting this kind of information, personal information, out?
Well, this is certainly almost like a honeypot. It's a big mass database of small business owners in the United States, and they want information not just on your business, not just your legal name and your doing business as name and your address, but for every owner and for all the people who are making decisions. They're asking for information, like your own personal information. They want identification numbers from your driver's license or from your passport. And in terms of the government being really great at cybersecurity and safeguarding that information that you're going to go online and put into a database, I'm not one that would advocate for that. It could be used internally within the government to have somebody target you. You could be put out on a list. Unsavory actors or people who are looking to target small businesses. And we know, and certainly at the BBB, small businesses are the biggest targets of cybercrime. So, what a great, as I said, honeypot for them to attract those cyber criminals to go, okay, here we go. Now we've got all kinds of data, really important identifying data on these small businesses, who owns them, and who's making decisions. And that threatens your privacy and your security as a small business owner, as well as those, critical C-level managers and other decision makers in your business.
Carol Roth, we can find you at carolroth.com, the website. What's the best way for people to connect with you, and what do you recommend?
Yes. So first of all, please use your voice. And if you're not sure of the words that we used here, you can check my Twitter account at Carol JS Roth, or you can reach out to me through that carolroth.com website. For me to clarify so that you have the specific language. I do have a personal newsletter on that website, which talks about some small business issues as well as other issues at carolroth.com/news. And then across social media, I'm at Carol JS Roth. And then other things of note for small business owners, as you said, I have a new New York Times bestselling book, my second one, You Will Own Nothing, which is out and available everywhere, which you may find interesting as owners of businesses. I have a legacy and wishes planning system that helps you to create a roadmap for your loved ones in terms of aging issues and emergencies and people passing away, which is really helpful at futurefile.com. And we actually offer businesses and people who are affiliated with groups like the BBB the ability to offer discounts to your employees if you want financial wellness. And we also do some consulting as well. So please feel free to reach out if we can be helpful.
Carol, thank you so much for your time today and this important information. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thanks for all the great work you do.